Good morning and welcome to the NWR Aussie Resources Conference. My name is Kerry Stevenson and we're going to hear from Summit Minerals this morning. ASX code is SUM. Now they're Australian focused critical minerals explorer, and Jonathan King is their managing director. He's going to give us a great update of what they're doing. What a great area to be in right now, Jonathan. Critical minerals, that's what's on everybody's lips. So take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kerry. Good morning, everyone. It is bright and early over here. My kids are still sound asleep, so I'll try and keep my noise down. Firstly, I'd like to thank Kylie and Peter for their support in getting Summit up and going, which is awesome. And for you that out there listening that don't know, Summit listed only last month on August the 5th. So we've been going just over a month now. So we've had a pretty busy month and we just basically want to keep that momentum going. I'd also like to thank NWR for inviting me here to speak today. So thank you very much.
Even if it's early in the morning.
Yes, even if it's early in the morning. As Kerry spoke of, we are a Australian focused critical mineral explorer, and our focus, now why is that not responding? Let me just see what's going on here. There we are, now it's working. There we are. So we are a Australian focused critical minerals explorer. Our main minerals really are lithium, rare earths and antimony. And a quick look at the capital structure of the company. We issued with around 35 million shares. We have a free float of approximately 25 mil. We have our top 20 shareholders control 65% of the company, give or take, call it 64. So very strong. The market cap is sitting around $6.3 million currently, and we still have 4.6 million in the bank. So we're in a good position, very tight capital structure with plenty of cash in bank or cash on hand to work with. This is the board of directors, Brett Shapiro, Stephen Ross and myself. Both Stephen and myself went through university together, so we've known each other for many, many years, and we're both still involved in this industry, which is amazing. The investment highlights, again, the very low EV and tight capital structure is the principle that I think people are looking at us for at this point in time. We also have a good set of projects which, as I said earlier, are focused on lithium, antimony and rare earths. Where are those projects? We have the WINDFALL project, which is our antimony project, which lies on the east coast. And then the bulk of the projects, the balance of them are in Western Australia. We have a range of lithium projects and rare earth projects, or a combination of them both within the one project. So I will run through these and I will commence at the top of the list and work south. So we'll start on the PHILLIPS River Lithium project, which you can see is down near Ravensthorpe. So it's in the southwest of WA. I'll swing across to Bridgetown, come up to those northern projects, back into Stallion, and then off to WINDFALL and finalise the chat around WINDFALL. So PHILLIPS River is down near Mount Catlin. You can see Mount Catlin off to the north in the diagram here. Obviously that is a substantial lithium operation. And this is what I like about our portfolio. We have the right projects, we are in the right districts, and we are near existing operations in all of our lithium plays. So coming back in a little bit more into PHILLIPS River, you'll note that we have also the PHILLIPS South discovery by Bulletin Resources. It lies about 2 kilometres northwest of our tenement, and it sits in the Annabelle Volcanics, which is this mustard coloured unit. Hopefully it's mustard coloured on your screens, which trends down and comes into the central parts of our tenure at this point in time. Now, the underlying geology there is mapped by the GEOL survey, and that mapping is very coarse. And in fact, there is a lot more Annabelle volcanic there than what we see. The other critical issue are these northeast trending structures that you can see, And you can see that most of the mineralisation tends to align. This is the lithium mineralisation, which are these little blue dots, tends to align along those structures. So, or along these dikes, whatever they may be. So we've got a couple of those which intersect the tenements, and it's those that we'd like to get out and have a look at. At the moment, the area is under crop, so we need to wait for that this year's crop to finish, be harvested before we can really get on the ground and do some work. However, we have secured access agreements, so when we're ready, we can get in there and do that work.
Jonathan, when are the crops done, and when are you planning on getting in there to do that work?
Well, the crops should be over the Christmas period there, Kerry. So we would be hoping that we will be in there at that time of the year. So as soon as we can get in, we will get in, and we will obviously start with some soil geochemistry and get those results. And hopefully we can get into a drilling program before they prepare next year's crop. The Bridgetown Lithium project. So we are now at Greenbushes. So we have 2 tenements in this area. Again, you can see Greenbushes to the northwest of our northern tenement. And Greenbushes itself is the world's largest hard rock lithium mine. So, you know, great location for us. And you can actually trace the magnetic unit coming south from Greenbushes, and it comes into the top of our tenure. So that's very exciting for us. We have a magnetic target, of course, which sits right underneath that magnetic unit in the top end of that southern tenement. And as many of you may be aware, FMG has pegged all the ground to the west of us, and IGO are now controlling all the ground to the east of us. And they are in this area primarily for lithium plays or critical mineral plays. So to us, that's it verifies our position, our ground control, our amount of ground control. And let's hope we can get in there and do some work. We do have an issue with the northern tenement. A lot of that is sitting under infrastructure supporting the town, and water reserves, golf courses, etc. So we can work the northwest corner of that tenement, but that would probably be it in all likelihood. The southern tenement at this point in time we can access and we can get in. We have the same farming issue. This is beautiful farmland out here. And obviously we just need to negotiate some access. The area of that principal target is sitting under forest, so that's okay. We can get in there and do some work. We will need to apply for government permissions to take the work beyond sort of standard non-ground disturbing activities. So any drilling work we'll need to discuss with the government. But great land position, and very excited about what this could deliver to us. The northern rare earth lithium projects, there's 3 project areas. In the south, we have what we refer to as Morrissey, which is a lithium rare earth play. In the central part, we have Linden, and in the northern part, we have Wodgina. Now, each of these projects has something around them which makes them a very interesting project. Starting in the south with Morrissey, to the north of us, the immediate north of us, we have the Melinda lithium project being developed by Electrostate. To the south of us there, we have some beryl outcrop. And within our tenement itself, we have a rare earth pegmatite that's being formally identified and mapped by the GL survey. And when you look in this space of these pegmatites, they are typically zoned, and they are zoned from pegmatite to lithium with increasing distance from the likely source area. So in other words, we're seeing all the ingredients we want to see in that tenement or around that tenement. So that's very promising. And as I said earlier, we have a rare earth pegmatite already identified. So we're very excited about that. The next tenement to the north, the Linden tenement, everybody who's on this call will be aware of the work of Dreadnought. Dreadnought control a very substantial package in this belt, which is very much focused around rare earths, but they also have nickel copper PGE plays. Now, The area that they control primarily sits between these two tenements and Hastings, which is the Yangibana rare earth play that you can see in the diagram. So all that space in between is pretty much dreadnought resources, and they come right up to be about 5 kilometres east of this Linden tenement. Now, inside that tenement, we have a number of uranium occurrences, and those occurrences sit in calcrete. Now, one of the weathered products of a carbonatite is calcrete and uranium, because there is a calcium and uranium enrichment within the carbonatite. So when they weather, they form a calcrete cap, and often that will be carrying carnotite mineralisation, and that's exactly what we see. Now, I'm not saying that we have that, but it is interesting that we sit adjacent to what is a new carbonatite field, and we've got two of the essential weathered ingredients of a carbonatite sitting in our ground. We also have a mafic, a circular magnetic feature, and if we look on the aeromagnetics, what we tend to see, is outcropping a very dark unit, so a mafic looking unit. So we're not sure what that is at this point in time. We are out there in about a fortnight, and we will be reviewing that project. So looking forward to seeing what we have.
Jonathan, do you share information with, you spoke a lot about Dreadnought and what they've got, and there's a bit of excitement around that. Do you share information with them at all? Are you in contact with them about what they're doing?
We're not at this point in time, Kerry, but I would think and hope that the industry is moving this way now. It does tend to work with its neighbours. They have their ground, we have ours, and we share information so that people can benefit from what is out, because we know that it's for the greater good of the industry. So I do hope that in time I could work with Dean Tuck and sort that out. We'll see how we go, but for us it's such early days that we really need to come to terms with what we have first before we start chasing other information. But yeah, it's a great location, and as you all would be aware that there was a run on a company yesterday. A guy called David Lenegas is in charge of it. The name escapes me.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's on the tip of my tongue as well.
Yes.
If anybody out there knows which company it is, pop it in the Q&A at the bottom. So
well, they enclose our tenement. They enclose this tenement, and they had a good run yesterday. They have lithium numbers out where they are, and obviously that is something that we hope for as well. The northern tenement sits at basically halfway between. It straddles the boundary between Pilgangoora to the east and Wodgina to the west, and we sit on the same geology as Pilgangoora. This is the only application in the portfolio at this point in time, but the location is superb. So it's a small tenement, but we are sitting basically between two major camps. So both of them being developed as we speak. Well, Pilgangoora obviously is an operating mine, and Wodgina is coming back online, so it may already be back online. So again, a good land position out there. So exciting stuff, early days. As I said, I will be out there in about 2 weeks' time and looking at it all, and we'll see what comes back. Over to the east of Kalgoorlie, that is, not the far east. And we are discussing Stallion, and obviously there's been a bit of news flow from the company about developments out here. We recently pegged an application, and you can see the application in the central diagram. So it is this large area that envelops our original Stallion tenement. In our research out here, what we've identified is that the original position of Stallion, as marked in the top diagram, which sits within the existing tenement, our granted title, is mislocated, and the true position of Stallion is actually to the northwest and where it is mapped now. And so we're quite happy about this tenement. We've managed to capture the hot granites that I keep discussing in our announcements, and that are these whitish coloured blobs that you can see either side of the paleo channel. You can see the existing drilling within that paleo channel. So the paleo channel is defined by that drilling. And if we look into the section on the bottom, what you will see here is that the rare earth kicks are basically all sitting in the base of channel. Now, the only reason why we don't have rare earth kicks across all that drilling is that they weren't assayed. Not all the holes were assayed in the base of channel, so in the underlying bedrock. So when they did get into the bedrock, they got hits. Those hits are sort of the grade that we see in the or announced here on the screen. And so, you know, the numbers are pretty reasonable. The numbers are generated through only 3 elements at this point, being lanthanum, cerium, and yttrium. The balance of the rare earth suite, which is another 14 elements, are not included in these results. They are yet to be assayed. And so what we can tell you is these numbers, the ultimate numbers, will be higher than what is presented here. So we have an estimate on the right-hand side. We're hopeful that we'll be sort of in the ballpark of 0.5 to 0.9s, even some 1%ers. And if we've got those sorts of levels, then we are definitely in the game. Now, the reason why I flagged the hot granites is because hot granites are built up in uranium, thorium, and commonly can carry rare earth signatures. And these hot granites in particular are quite high in thorium, and the rare earth numbers that we see in the base of channel here or in the underlying bedrock are also high in phosphate. Now, the phosphate mineral we believe is probably monazite, and monazite is carries a lot of thorium. So we tend to be, we're building a story here where we're linking everything from the rare earths, the known uranium mineralization that exists in the channel. And by the way, that resource was developed by Manhattan, and it was 3.3 million pounds. All of that is linked into these hot granites. And the fact that the drainage envelops these hot granites means that you've got the ability to move material directly into the paleo channel, either mechanically or chemically. And so we're of the view that these hot granites represent substantial targets, very large targets. Now, obviously, we can't do anything until the application is granted, but at least we've got a strong framework from which we're working, and obviously we'll be designing very suitable tests to get out there and confirm our views. Now, I'm heading to...
Sorry to
That's all right, Kerry, go for it.
When do you think the application will be granted? Is it imminent or?
I would think that we are 3 to 5 months away on that, Kerry.
Yeah.
I can't state categorically. The government's moving fairly quickly on these things, but I would hope we're already in the position where we're signing our agreements with the Aboriginals, the claimant group out here, and that means that things should progress, I think, relatively smoothly. I'm actually off out to this area today, so later this afternoon I'll be out there running around, and we'll be just collecting some rock chips, looking at the proposed drilling program, which commences early next month. And that drilling program will be essentially to test this concept, going from the known, which is within the paleo channel, twinning the holes that have got hits in them, and then stepping out onto the margins, the channel margins, into the hot granite, and seeing what we get. So, to me, that's a very exciting play, and I'm very, very thankful for the free kick that we've received by inheriting a 3.3 million pound uranium deposit, and having a well-established target, I think, is a wonderful thing.
A couple of minutes left, Jonathan.
Okay, antimony, last project. This is the one that I'm really, really excited about. Most of the information will come into the market later about this project. It is a long-term play for us, and we see this space as growing dramatically in due course. The critical reason for that is that the antimony battery is a long-term, large-scale energy solution. So it's no longer just a battery to power your car or power your house. This battery will capture the green energy from wind farms, from solar, and it will power the grid to feed a suburb. So it is huge. It's got huge industrial applications, huge residential applications. It's going to be the battery of the future. So I'm very, very excited about that. And we have supply issues. China and Russia control the market. And of course, Chinese are limiting supply now. So there is a gap that is opening up in this market, and it needs to be filled. Current uses are not driving that. What will drive that need to expand the search for antimony will be the development of this battery. So that is why we are focused here. The project that we have is WINDFALL. It's a large tenement with essentially 2 project areas, one in the north, one in the south. We are starting our investigations in the south, and we're doing so mainly because it's New South Wales. There are land access issues. You need to organise your land access, and most of the ground in the south is under private ownership. So we're dealing with the local owners to get access to these properties. The northern ground is mostly under conservation and flora reserves. We can work in them. It's just a matter of application and resolving native title issues. So that process is a little bit longer. We have started that process. In the south, we are focused very much on the eastern side of the property in that dense cluster. And in that dense cluster is the Munga Creek mine, which last operated in 1974. And 1,100 tonnes of antimony concentrate was removed. And it looks as though we are going to have permission to enter that property and start the work there very, very soon. The reason why we're excited about that area is not only do we have that, if you look at the next line down, this project carries the highest recorded antimony grades in the country. So 63% antimony, basically DSO antimony, and antimony never moves by itself. It always moves with something else. And in our case, it's moving with gold. And so most of these blobs have gold, substantial levels of gold, and we've got established grades of up to 6 grams per tonne. So we're getting 2 bites of the cherry at this project. So really, really like it, and really very, very keen to get in there. Just a peer list. As you can see, the key thing here really is our low EV. It's not going to take too much of a shift. If you look at the outlook on the lithium market and the outlook for the antimony market, as I've just established, then really any lift should lead to a substantial re-rating in the company, and we should see that EV go north from where it is currently. Some indicative news flow. We've already done the first lot up the front. So I am at Stallion later today. I will be in the northern area around the end of the month. And then, as I said, we start drilling at Stallion in October, and then we'll commence surface geochem exploration on the northern and southern projects. And basically the news flow, I think, will remain fairly constant. And hopefully we can keep people informed of developments as they occur. I think maybe I'll just leave it there for you, Kerry.
Yeah, Jonathan, we've actually run out of time, but I'm very, very quickly going to ask you, are you coming across to that antimony project? Sounds pretty exciting. In terms of focus, would you say that that's going to be, is it 50-50 to that, or is that your favorite child?
That is my personal favourite child, but the company is very focused on the lithium projects at the moment. And really, it does appear as though Stallion has jumped into top spot, but that's really only a function of that's where we're focused at the moment. The lithium projects, as we can get access and get more work done, I think that we'll see that they'll start to push through, and they'll be our main effort going forward. Stallion will develop and in the background. And as I said, I think that the antimony play, though I personally love it, it really is a longer term play. We need to build access, and we need to build awareness into the market about what the antimony is and what it does and what role it's going to play in our future. And I think that with that, you know, we've got a good balance. We've got the now while the market's running, and we've got the later for when, you know, the market shifts focus to, well, what's the next technology? Well, we're already prepared, and we're going to be building that story for that time.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that there was an antimony battery. So there you go, technology. Last question for you, Jonathan. When are you starting drilling on Stallion?
So we'll be drilling on Stallion and in early October. So we basically, we're keen to get out there, get this process underway and see what we have. Because to me, with the view and picture that we're forming, it's a very exciting picture.
Jonathan, congratulations on bringing together such fantastic tenements. You only listed a few weeks ago, so well done. It looks like the market likes what you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us at the NWR Aussie Resources Conference today.
Great. Thank you for your time, Kerry, and thank you, everybody. Thank you.